Here. So what I'm going to do is do a run through of step by step of how to do this using your vector software. And quick reminder, you have the option to work on this as well using Google Draw, or if you want to practically make it using materials you have at home, feel free to try that as well. But I'm going to go through a quick step by step. I will fast forward in some sections just so you don't have to see me do this, and you can always rewind this video if you missed or don't understand a section. And quick reminder, feel free to stop in on Tuesdays and Thursdays if you have any questions about doing this project. All right, so let's get started. So to start off with, I have my reference image already saved on here. I got that from going to my upload image icon with a little cloud and arrow, and so I just kind of uploaded that image from my desktop and added it right here. And so what I'm going to do actually is go to my layers. You see I have my image right there, and I am going to lock it because that way it doesn't get in the way. I don't accidentally activate it, so that's good. All right, so I'm going to actually show you how to make your first leaf, and you can actually experiment on your own making the other three. So what I like to do is actually start off with simple shapes. So you can actually start off with a circle, an ellipse, or what I like to do is actually start off with this water drop shape, which already resembles an actual leaf. And you know, guess what? This can count for one of your leaf designs. Yes, it is very simple, but it works. But what I want to do is actually make it more interesting, because that's what it's all about. It's how do we make the work we're making a lot more interesting and captivating to our audience. So what I'm actually going to do is go here and double click, and that's going to give me these little controls, these little circles around here, and I can actually mess with the shape of my leaf design. So I'm actually going to go here, I'm going to double click, and that's going to give me this little circle beneath it, and I'm going to hold it down, click, hold down, and that's going to give me a rounded edge right there. And so I can play around with that. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to expand this a little bit, make it a little bit wider, because you know what? I want my leaf that is going to go in the bottom row to be the widest. That way it covers more area. So I kind of like this already, but you know what? I'm going to double click again to get my transform box, and I'm going to expand this just so it's nice and large. You know what? That's pretty cool. I like that a lot. I'm going to experiment with one more really quick. So a quick way to do things is to actually press Command C and then press Command B. I can duplicate that shape really quickly. If you're working on Chromebook, I believe it's a different function. I think it's Alt C, or I'll look into it for you. In the meantime, what I'm going to do is actually modify this shape already made by double clicking. And you know what? I'm going to actually use these controls on the side. By clicking one of them, it gives me the handles, and I can actually start to distort it. But since my second leaf I actually want it to be a little bit smaller, so I'm actually going to mess around with it, mess around with the shape. Look at that. That's already looking pretty cool to me. And you know what? I'm going to give this one a pointed edge. Nice. That's 2. So I won't go ahead and do the other 3. I'll fast forward so you can actually see that. But I actually want to experiment with color. This is a good opportunity to change it up. Don't make all your leaves the same color. They won't have any contrast. They won't stand out when you arrange them in your circular pattern. So what I'm going to do right now is go up here to my menu, and it says color. I'm going to go to the little window, and I'm actually going to select complementary color, because you know what? I want a complementary color scheme for my Echeveria plant design. So I'm going to go toward the red, but you know what? I don't like that red. I'm going to switch it up. I like this pink. It actually looks pretty interesting. Okay, good. So I got 2. Next step, I'm going to go show you how to do the gradient. So I'm actually going to go ahead and right click. I'm going to click duplicate, and that's going to give me another one. I'm just going to put it right next to each other. You know what I can do is actually select all of them to make them nice and small. I'm going to hold down Shift to keep the proportion, and that way it actually lets me arrange my workspace a little bit better. So for this one, I want to do a gradient. So I'm going to go back here to my color menu. I'm going to click here in the drop down arrow. I'm going to select linear gradient. And see, it's going to give me a really cool gradient. It's monochromatic right now, but let's change it. I want to mix it up and make it into color. So I'm alternating complementary colors. I'm going from green to red. I'm going to go back to green. You know what? I want it to be more of an aqua green. So I'm going to go and slide it and make it a little bit cooler to make it more interesting. That's pretty nice. You know, I'm going to go a bit lighter on this end. All right. And so that's actually controlling this top toggle right there. If I want to change the color of this, this spectrum of the gradient, this such as a spectrum, I'm actually going to click this little circle right there, and that actually lets me change it up. So it actually looks pretty fascinating. I like that a lot. I'm going to go with this. All right, cool. I got 3 leaves. So I'm not going to bore you with the third one. Let's zoom ahead and see how all of them look when I'm finished. Okay, we're back. So at this point, what I want to do is actually remove my original design reference. So I'm going to go up here and click on the little lock box, the little lock icon. I'm going to click this, and you know what? I don't even need to delete it. I can actually go back, click the lock, and click the little eyeball icon, and it makes it so it's not even there or not even bothering me anymore. Cool. So you'll notice that I arranged my leaf designs and from largest to smallest, because the largest leaf is going to go on my first layer, and I'm going to add this one second, third, and fourth. Okay, so next up I'm going to show you how to arrange it in a circle, and we'll zoom by that pretty quick so you can actually see how that gets done. All right. Okay, so now we're going to arrange this in a circular pattern. And remember, we talked about how it's actually, they call it a rosette pattern. And what I'm going to do is actually select my leaf. I'm going to actually, I can copy it. Remember, Command C and Command V to paste it. Or I can right click, or use both fingers on your trackpad to get this pop-up menu. And I can just go to duplicate. And you know what? I'm going to duplicate it 4 times. Was that 4? I think I went too many. I did 5. 5 is okay. We'll go with 5. All right. So now what I'm going to do is actually start to arrange my my design. So I'm going to do is actually I'm going to hold down Shift, and Shift, what it does, it actually snaps your leaf into like these 45 and 90-degree angles. So it's easier to get this nice looking symmetrically balanced design. And another way to actually flip your design around, your shape around, is actually by going to these little menus at the top. And where you see right there, it says flip vertical, flip horizontal. So it's going to flip vertical. So you can play around with this and make it look nice and neat. So let's fast forward and let's get this done. Okay, so I'm just making little fine-tune adjustments, but you see I have my first row. What I want to do is actually select all of these shapes, and I'm actually going to right-click, or use both fingers on your trackpad to get this menu up, and you're going to group these objects. And that makes it so you can actually just click once, and you can move this around to get it organized. Okay, you saw me do one. I'll do the rest, but I'm going to actually, fast track so you can actually, get to see all of them done at once. All right, see you in a bit. Okay, we're back. So now you can actually see me get all my leaf designs in their rosette pattern. And next step is to actually just overlap them. So everything is grouped. So I'm actually going to start off with my base layer. I'm going to move that into the center. I'm going to start off with my second layer, move that on top. And you know what? This is where you get to actually mess around and change the size of your leaf design. And don't worry at this point if it's too small, because you can actually make it larger, because remember, we're working with vectors, so no matter how large or how small you make these, it won't lose its clarity or resolution. Okay, at this point I'm going to select everything and just make it larger. I'm going to hold down shift when I'm doing it. So let me do that again. I'm going to select everything. I'm going to hold down shift. I'm going to click on the corner of that transform box and I'm going to drag it outward, and it's going to make it nice and large and fill up my space. Okay, awesome. Now I have that. So at this point you can actually experiment. I suggest take a look, see what works, what doesn't. If you want to go back, you can actually start to change things up by going up here into your layers menu. You can actually click the little eyeball to get rid of things you don't like, or if you want to isolate and work on certain things one at a time. For example, if I wanted to work on this, I can actually just make sure everything else is locked so it doesn't get in the way. I can go here, I can actually go up to color, I can start to change the color of everything that's in the same group. So I'm actually going to go back. But you know what? I want to give this an outline, and I want to see how that looks with an outline. Ooh, cool, interesting. So you have options. And I'm just showing the bare minimum so you can actually experiment, because I want you to make yours better. Okay, let's go back. All right, at this point I'm going to add the background color. Or if you started with the background color, you can add it. Okay, background is there, but you know what? It's covering everything else up. I want to move it to the back. So what I'm going to do is actually select the shape, and it gives me this menu up here, and it says send to back. And I can click twice, 3 times, 4 times. Cool. Very Christmassy. I don't think I want that. So let's change up the colors. Okay, I'm gonna go with this green for now, and actually I might end up changing that base layer, that bottom layer of leaves later on. So, but I'm happy with this for the moment because I can still change it up. Okay, next we're gonna add the text. So adding the text, I'm gonna go over here to my menu and go to the text toolbox right there, tool icon, and click text, and I'm just going to click anywhere here on the top left, and you'll see it pops up with text. I'm just going to write down my slogan, which is I'm just going to use be water-wise. Okay, so be water-wise is there. I can actually select it, and my text menu pops up on the right hand side. First thing I'm going to do is actually change the size. I want to make this larger, so I'm going to increase the font size so I can actually see it. Next, I'm going to select my font. This program has a lot of nice fonts to pick from, and I'm going to go with the one I've been using so far, but I actually want you to experiment with your font choice. Oh, I like that one. Let's go with it. And I can change the color as well. Okay, so I have my text, I have my background color, I have my leaf design in 4 rows. I actually have 4 leaf designs. So this is the bare minimum. I know you can actually make something that is a lot more intricate, a lot more detailed, and a lot more captivating than what I have here. But use this as your example of how to start off your design. What I'm going to do is go back and work on this a little bit more because I know I can make it better. I can add more gradients. I can add some background patterns. What can you add? How can you make yours interesting? Think about the format that we're using. If this is for social media posts, it needs to be interesting enough to get our attention, in a matter of 15 seconds. Use bold colors. Use interesting patterns. Get creative with this project. All right, class. Hope you have a good one. See you later.